welcome to the Longbox splash page. Today we'll be talking about the new X-Men Apocalypse trailer. Just want to say, before we get into the trailer, I love the X-Men. I was raised in a diet of X-Men and Spider-Man comics when I was growing up. Oh, and the cartoon series as well. I love the cartoon series. And my first child will be born next month, and she will be called Rogue. So it goes without saying that I love the X-Men as a product, as a franchise. All in all, I love the film franchise as well. I mean, you discount the pointless Wolverine spin-off movies where anything interesting that happened in the first Wolverine film is told better in X-Men 2. It's done there first and is better. Obviously, apart from the origins of the leather jacket, I'm not too sure why we needed that in the film. And then there was the boring samurai sequel, which I don't think I could ever watch a second time. Brett Ratner missed a point when making X-Men Last Stand, and he gives every mutant the ability to jump really high in the final battle for some reason. Doesn't really fit with the Singer films before. But apart from that, we do have 4 not good but excellent films. Days of Future Past was the film that I was most afraid to watch ever. When I heard that Bryan Singer was going to attempt that story. For years I thought it was going to be a complete mess. Just too many moving parts to kind of get that working, and the fact he was like, yeah, I'm going to use this cast and that cast. It was just the cast from X-Men First Class and the cast that he used in his original films. I was just like, oh, this is going to be horrendous, but I was so impressed. And it wrote out all the shit films from the franchise as well. I thought that was some intelligent writing. Still don't understand how Old Man Magneto got his powers back from the chess game, or how old Professor X got in his new body in the future. Honestly, if anyone knows the answer to these questions, please leave a comment below, because I would really like to know. I don't know if I'm getting my timelines mixed up, so they're from a different timeline than the one that was from the original films, but I'm pretty sure that's the first timeline, and then we change it to the new timeline. So I assume that there's some unanswered questions there that might be explored later. So, on to the trailer. We start with Sansa Stark as a young Jean Grey. She's seeing a vision of an apocalyptic future. She seems to be in the X-Mansion with Professor X, so I assume we're going to get some sort of kind of meet, a little bit like the first scene in X-Men 3. We then get a voiceover of Apocalypse. He's talking about being mistaken for gods through history. I love that shit. I love that type of thing. It kind of gives them an origin where we're not just like, where the fuck has this dude been for all this time? He's been frozen with Captain America or something. However, it does make you think, where has he been between the ancient Egyptian scene and now? Someone must have knocked him off his perch at some point. He was in power at that point, and where has he been? He's just been just taking a break or something. We then get to see the return of McTaggart from First Class. No idea where she was in Days of Future Past. And we also get to see Alex again with fucking luscious hair. The best hair ever. He looks gorgeous in that scene. Taggart acts as Miss Exposition in this scene, as she explains to Xavier what Apocalypse is and the four horsemen of the Apocalypse gimmick. We then get to see shots of some of the mutants that will appear in this film. We get a Mystique shot, a young Nightcrawler who looks really great. I think it's a really good look. And we get to see Jubilee as well. She's in the yellow jacket. She looks exactly straight out of the cartoon. I'm really impressed with the look of Jubilee. And I'm glad that a big X-Men character like that, finally, it's taken 7 films to get there, but we finally got Jubilee in there. We also get to see a lot of shots of the title character from behind and with the hood up, removing said hood but cutting away before we see it, which is weird because we saw what he looked like in Comic-Con and it was shit. It was kind of Ivan Oozy and yuck. When we finally do get to see him, he does look better than he did in the Comic-Con images. He's not really purple and he's got the mouth bits. Still not as built as I'd like, but whatever. We get to see a lot of shots of Raven, but not as Mystique. I know the internet has been going on about this a lot, as if it was kind of a choice by the studio to show a lot of Jennifer Lawrence, as she's kind of a big star now. I don't think she's even blue once in this trailer, and everyone's using this kind of studio pressure argument for this. I'm going to give the film the benefit of the doubt and say it is an artistic choice. I believe in this film, and from the trailer it looks like she's going to be the leader of the X-Men this time round, and kind of be a quote-unquote goodie. It's kind of set up in First Class that Xavier would like her to look more human. So the Raven look is kind of good Mystique, and the blue look is kind of bad under Magneto Mystique. So as she's kind of towing the line and being part of Xavier's X-Men, I would like to suggest that's the reason that we're seeing Jennifer Lawrence Mystique and not the blue outfit. It's probably not that. I imagine this Lawrence just doesn't want to be, in the makeup chair like hours and hours a day. So she's kind of like probably said, if you want me back for this film, I ain't getting in that fucking Smurf costume every fucking time. But let's hope that my theory is correct. We see the young X-Men team of Jean Grey, Scott and Nightcrawler wearing black, which is a bit of a shame because I think this film is set in the 80s, I think, and if we're having Jubilee in that kind of real bright, vibrant jacket, can't we have the X-Men in a more classic X-Men-y kind of colours? I really loved it in First Class when we got to see him in the retro yellow. I just wish they could be a little bit more flamboyant with this costume round. I know eventually we'll get to the kind of matrixy black, but I just feel like we could have a little bit more fun with these costumes. There's a moment where Xavier is fighting Apocalypse in the mansion. Xavier throws a punch and Apocalypse pins him down to the floor and starts to grow giant. Don't get too excited. I'm pretty sure this is a scene taking place in their mind telepathically, as Xavier can walk in this scene. Besides, we've seen a Bryan Singer film about giants and I'm in no rush to see that again. So maybe Apocalypse can grow in this film because it is one of his powers. But we've only seen it in that one shot, and like I said, I believe that's a telepathic inside their minds thing. We also get to see a shot of Angel with like these badass wings that can fire stuff. I don't understand how that is the case, because it's established in X-Men First Class that he's in his 20s in 2006, and he looks like the same age now. I know the timeline's been like altered, and so circumstances can change, but I don't think date of births change. I don't think characters could be born earlier. So I don't know if that's a retcon or what. We get to see Storm flying down from the sky, and we get to see Magneto. All of them seem to be controlled by Apocalypse. I love the idea of having Magneto as one of the Horsemen, because it's a way of having him in the film, but not kind of having him as a second villain. It's kind of the plot of Days of Future Past, and X-Men 2 is this idea that we're fighting a separate villain, but he's going to fucking stab you in the back by the film end. It feels like this may not be the case in this one, which I'm all for, because, going in circles and repeating yourself is not what these films should really be about. The trailer ends with Xavier in the chair from X1 with a bald head. It's kind of a full circle moment, like the prequels are almost caught up with X-Men 1. I believe this will be the end shot of the movie as well. I just hope it plays out better than the Vader moment from Episode 3. To round things up, I think the trailer makes the film look solid. After making Days of Future Past, the Apocalypse storyline should be child's play for these guys. Didn't get to see Oscar Isaac's performance yet, but I'm sure it'll be great. I'm very happy to see a Storm that I can enjoy, because I hate the Halle Berry portrayal. And although we haven't had it in a film yet, it was nice to see an X-Men trailer that doesn't have Hugh Jackman in it. But I'm sure there'll be a Doomsday-like reveal in the next trailer. All I will say, though, is this trailer showed me nothing I didn't already know. I knew all the characters that were going to be in it, and what they would look like. I knew who the Four Horsemen were going to be, and I knew that Xavier would be bold at some point. But it still looks fucking great. And they did it without needing any quips or jokes. I'm talking to you, Batman vs Superman trailer. Thanks, join us next time where I believe we'll be reviewing Star Wars Force Awakening and then continually talking about that for the rest of my life. After that, please join us for a regular scheduled show, The Longbox, a month in comics. I've been Doug Hawkins, read more comics.